You might know this feeling, sitting perfectly still while your mind builds a high-definition version of a better life. You can see the success, the routine, and the person you want to become with total clarity. When this mental movie fails to produce a single physical step, observers, and often our own inner critics, label the behavior as laziness. Psychology points to a more complex reality. The brain utilizes specific defense mechanisms to block action, prioritizing the safety of the status quo over the risk of change. This process follows a timeline called the life cycle of a dying dream. It moves through 3 measurable stages: inception, preparation, and paralysis. Mapping these specific points of mental sabotage allows us to see exactly where the momentum is being intercepted. The life cycle begins with inception. A new goal generates a premature psychological reward that can actually stall the work before it begins. This diagram compares 2 types of progress. Physical action builds satisfaction slowly, while visualizing a goal instantly releases satisfaction chemicals. Because the brain already received its reward from the fantasy, the drive for physical action drops. The urgency to start disappears completely. This creates an addiction to potential. Engaging with the idea of who we could be provides an emotional high that requires no actual sacrifice. Potential is pristine and perfect. Real-world effort, by comparison, is repetitive, slow, and frequently boring. In phase 1, the mind often chooses the immediate dopamine hit of the fantasy over the delayed, difficult satisfaction of real labor. If the dream survives the first phase, it enters the preparation stage. Here, the logistical act of planning is repurposed as a sophisticated avoidance tactic. Overthinking triggers a cycle of hyperanalysis. By trying to account for every possible variable and obstacle at once, we overtax our finite cognitive resources. This constant mental simulation drains energy. When it comes time to actually execute a single task, the brain has already reached a state of exhaustion. This exhaustion reinforces the idea that we need to wait for a perfect moment, or wait until we feel fully ready to begin. This chart clarifies the order of operations. Readiness is a byproduct generated by taking action. It rarely exists before the first step is taken. Phase 2 transforms preparation into a weight that kills momentum, turning a logistical tool into an excuse for continued inaction. The final stage is paralysis. This is the threshold where action is the only remaining step, and yet the dreamer often finds themselves completely frozen. Fear of failure acts as a preservation tool for the ego. As long as a dream remains unattempted, it remains perfect, and the dreamer's self-image remains safe from the reality of a potential mistake. We also see identity misalignment here. If a person's underlying self-image is, "I never finish things," the brain repels actions that would prove that identity wrong, training the change as a threat to its established internal map. At this final stage, the dream often fails because executing the goal requires the dreamer to abandon their current, comfortable identity. Every person with an ambition faces this psychological friction. The internal resistance to real work is a standard feature of the human brain, not a personal flaw. While circumstances and opportunities vary, the primary differentiator in the life cycle of a dream is how one handles this specific mental resistance. Making progress requires the willingness to move forward even while the mind is generating reasons to stay still. Surviving the life cycle of a dream means abandoning the safety of potential. It means stopping the wait for readiness and embracing the discomfort of immediate, imperfect action.